Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
I am that dude, Bodkins.
Yeah, DP lost like, deep. Yeah.
Right. Where he's wondering he's like, I
had it up, Eddie.
One style, like no weight classes.
Yeah, basically, like I said, there's been a couple guys that are like,
it's ridiculous. No way. There's nobody else out there. He's your guy.
That's just not my mentality, bro. Like,
yeah. Leave the ladder down. That's my always like, hey, somebody helped you out. Why not help somebody else out? Return.
Give a big round of applause for the one and only Bodkins Show.
Or bringing Craig Counsell down the interstate. In a move unexpected. I had people.
I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkins Show.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another great episode of the Bodkins Show. I am your host, Bodkins. It is our Sunday morning. It's one of my, actually, probably my favorite show I do. It's the last few weeks is the weekly dump. Man, I want to backtrack to last Saturday. I didn't catch this last Saturday to talk about it. Yes, last weekend, but I caught it maybe Monday morning. And during the Georgia-Clemson game, Roddy White said, Clemson ain't going to win. They got too many whites on the field. And Roddy's taking a lot of backlash, people saying he's racist and this and that. As a white, look at this face. As a white, Roddy White is exactly right. We all know that, folks. Us whites know. Any white that has ever played sports, we know. We know, and we're okay with it. We know, hey, you got too many whites on the team and not enough brothers. If you ain't got enough brothers, you ain't going to win. And I told Dabo, I said, open up the damn portal because you out here recruiting all the whites to come to Clemson. And guess what? They getting burnt like toast because they don't run a 40 in 4 flat. No, sir, we don't. We're a little slow. There's only one or two Cooper DeJeans out there in the world, folks. And you could only get one or two. If you got 5 whites out on the team, and especially on the skill position, now whites on the offensive line, defensive line, that's a little different. You know what I mean? That's positions we play. We know we ain't supposed to be out on the wide receiver. We ain't supposed to be playing safety and corner. We know that. And people are all up in Roddy White's grill. How dare you say that? How dare you say it? Roddy White just saying what we already all know. We already know that they got too many whites on the team. It's okay, folks. It's okay. It's okay. It is what it is. You got to be okay with it. Hey, they on the team, but you ain't going to win very many games. And I'm okay with saying that. As a white, I'm okay saying that. We already know that. Hey, come here. Hey, we got it real quick. Happy birthday to this guy right here. Happy birthday to little Charlie, 7 years old today. Love you. All right. Anyway, we're gonna start our morning show. I'm always joined by, my brother from another mother, Mr. Yankee Finn, Johnny Cruz.
What is going on? Good morning. Happy to be here on another episode of the Weekly Dump. I'm glad you started this one with the whole Roddy White thing, so we can get that subject out of the way. The Dolphins do have one of those corners, the rare white corner on our squad, Ethan Bonner, who's actually going to get a lot of playing time with the whole Jalen Ramsey team. We'll see what happens with that today. But it's an interesting topic because you ain't lying and Roddy ain't lying. You know what I'm saying? Right. I mean, the way he said it might have come across or whatever. And people are always going to find an excuse to make it a racial thing when he was just honestly stating a fact. You know what I'm saying? But there aren't many skill position players that are, that are white. Maybe, wide receivers, you got your, you got your Cooper Kupps and your Wes Welkers and guys like that or whatever. And in the secondary, like you mentioned, Deshaun, the safety that just came out of Iowa. And like I mentioned, Ethan Bonner. But for the most part, it's the brothers that are playing the skill positions with all the speed and stuff like that. A lot of the big uglies that we call them on the offensive and defensive lines are of the Caucasian descent. That makes it, but It was a funny statement. I took it as funny, but I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But I don't think he was like trying to be
Roddy's
racist
just
about
saying
it.
some shit we all say in the barbershop. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it was said with any type of malice and stuff like
Yeah.
that to be racist about it. He, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure he, you know, part of it was him being funny or whatever too. But no, I think Dabo's bigger problems are what you like you mentioned is, you know, you need to get off that high horse and start bringing in some guys in that transfer portal, bro.
It's the hill that he's going to die on. And like we said last week, it's the hill that, you know, he'll be fired on if it doesn't change, you know.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. You know, those national championships were a while ago. Johnny, we'll stay in the college football era. Yesterday, we get I'm literally watching the highlights right now. Down goes Notre Dame. Northern Illinois University, NIU, upsets Notre Dame in Notre Dame. In South Bend, when 16-14, the number 5 ranked team in the nation goes down to an unranked Northern Illinois team. Your thoughts on the biggest upset so far of college football?
Well, I'm always down for an underdog story. I love the underdog story. I love the Cinderella story. That's how you pay a school $1.4 million to come to your house so that you can supposedly beat them down, and you wind up getting embarrassed and you wind up getting upset like that. I didn't watch much of the games. I just got the alerts on my phone towards the end about it being a close game, and then Northern Illinois wins it on a field goal late. But that's part of what we talked about with the whole rankings early on in the season. We don't really know where these teams are until they've played a few games. I don't know if Notre Dame just didn't take them all that seriously or whatever, but props to them. Props to the coach. People were talking shit about the coach because he was crying and emotional about it. Now, he should be crying and emotional.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the greatest win for their program's history. You know what I'm saying? To go into Notre Dame and to come up with that win. So props to the coach of Northern Illinois and to those players.
To 14 points. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, it's wild.
Yeah. It gives me flashbacks to when Appalachian State beat Michigan in the big house, however long ago, 20, 30 years ago. Holy shit, that shit was a long time ago.
Yeah. 20 years ago.
Yeah, similar to that or whatever. So that is what the greatness of college football is. You don't usually see stuff like this that often, but when it does happen, it's a big deal, especially in South Bend. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They're a big name as far as popularity in their school, stuff like that. But maybe they should have been ranked 5.
They were 28.5 point favorites.
Yeah,
that's what Notre Dame was.
Boy, some people that had their hearts out for Northern Illinois might have made some cash yesterday, boy. If they put a couple $dollars on them, to pull the upset. But nah, man, that's the great part of sports is the greatest reality TV possible is sports. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what I love about it. So I love a good upset. You know what I'm saying? So it was great to see that. To see that end part there. I haven't looked at all the highlights. I'm gonna have to check that out later. But Michigan took a nice ass whipping from Texas.
Yeah, they aren't who we thought. People are. First of all, the Michigan thing. People are like, oh, they can't do it without cheating. Blah blah blah. First of all, you know what I mean. A lot of them teams are cheating and trying to steal signs and things like that. Right. I don't know if you've watched that documentary of the Connor Stallions documentary on Netflix. It's pretty good. It's about an hour and a half long. It's kind of goes in detail about how obsessed this guy was on stealing signs and how obsessed he was, like really just trying to help the football team. Right. And he was a ex-military person. So it's and then like there's findings like maybe Ohio State had other schools were kind of doing the same thing. They just didn't have a Connor Stallions. Right. Everyone's like, well, they can't do it without cheating. Yeah, but this is a team, like, I didn't think Michigan was going to be very good this year anyway. Like, they lost so much from the national championship. You lost your starting running back, your starting quarterback, numerous starters off your team. Like, you're probably not – it's hard to recuperate that, not everybody's Alabama where
I was just about to say, unless you Alabama, you're not.
5 stars out, 5 stars in. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right.
like they don't have that in Texas. I mean, they put it on them yesterday.
Yeah, and I'm sure Texas loved every bit of that, making a statement against a Michigan team like that. But I'm with you on that. I don't think it had anything to do with the whole cheating thing and stuff like that, because I'm sure there were plenty of schools that did it. Just like there were a bunch of schools who were doing NIL before NIL was even a thing. You're saying let's stop fronting about that. The money was just under the table or whatever, but it was the same thing. Now that it's a more of an even playing field, some schools are getting exposed or whatever, but I don't think it had nothing to do with cheating. You mentioned it. They lost a bunch of players. It's hard when you win a national title like that, because a lot of your players are going to get drafted because you were that good. So like you mentioned, they're not Alabama to just have another bunch of 5 stars just step into place. You got a brand new head coach, so that's going to make a bit of a difference. But again, it goes to these rankings, these early season rankings, where they give these teams, and I know they have to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying not to harp on it, but again, this is just evidence that those early season or preseason rankings don't mean shit. But Texas looks legit. It's going to be interesting to see. That's another reason why I'm excited about the 12 teams.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because there's gonna be some good matchups, man. It's gonna be fun.
And Texas in the SEC too, so like their schedule is just gonna get harder. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, and they're gonna have some good matchups ahead. I mean, a bunch of top 25 teams lost yesterday. So we had Texas lose, or Michigan lose top 25. Now they did lose to a ranked team too, but Notre Dame, obviously the biggest upset of the day. Kansas, number 19, Kansas lost. Our friend Tanner Dawson's Kansas lost as well. They were ranked 19. My Iowa Hawkeyes, who were ranked 25, lost yesterday as well to Iowa State, 20-19. I was trying to find that Kansas score. Kansas lost to Illinois 23-17. So and
they stormed the field too, boy. They
Illinois did.
Yeah, they did. Yes, they did.
A bad look. That's a bad. I didn't know. I didn't see that. You can't. Illinois, I know you're very, very good, but you can't be storming the field because you beat this ain't basketball. You know what I mean? Like, you beat Kansas. I don't care what Kansas is ranked.
I was just about to say, bro, it's Kansas, bro.
Yeah.
You didn't just beat, you know what I'm saying, Ohio State or you know what I'm saying, or Michigan or Alabama or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But
you ain't beat a blue blood in football like you beat the blue blood in basketball. Like, this ain't, you don't get to storm the field. I mean,
yeah, I'm with you on that.
You don't get to.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm sorry about your Iowa team. You know what I'm saying, losing again. The one good thing about the 12-team playoffs is you can get over these early season losses if you get a nice roll going. You know what I'm saying, towards the end of the season. If you come away with just a loss, maybe 2, depending on if you win your conference, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, there's more opportunity for teams to get over an early season. I think Georgia, proved it last year, the year before. Whenever they got kicked out after losing the SEC title game, they had been undefeated. They lost that one game at the end and then weren't in the playoff. You'll say now with 12 teams, that shouldn't matter as much, but you have a lot more opportunity to recuperate from an early season loss like this. But yeah, man, the more teams that go down, shout out to the Hurricanes, the U baby, with a nice big win yesterday over FAMU. And I know it's FAMU, but they handled their business. You know what I'm saying? Unlike Notre Dame.
How about USC pitching out a shutout yesterday, 48-0. I know it's Utah State, but I mean, for a team that a year ago was a lot, you know what I mean, much maligned because they had no defense. Now you look at them, to pitch out a shutout is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, that transfer portal, you know what I'm saying? Lincoln Riley ain't worried about, you know what I'm saying, transfer portal. Yeah. He's getting some players and
he's getting the brothers. He's not playing the whites.
Right. Yes. Oh shit. But yeah, no, I was impressed with that. I mean, they had a good performance, you know what I'm saying, last week as well, as far as defensively. So you know what I'm saying, he's gonna work some stuff on the offensive side of the ball. That's what he does. But if he can actually have a relatively good defense. I'm not gonna say he's gonna have like a top 5, top 10 type of defense, but if he has a pretty good defense with his ability to and what he can do on the offensive side of the ball, USC is gonna be fun to watch this year.
Yeah. Real quick on the Iowa game, Iowa stinks. Their offense still stinks. New quarterback, like they stink. Their offense stinks. They do got too many whites is the problem on the skill position, or maybe they also just don't run a good offense. But the Iowa State kicker, true freshman coming in, nails a 50. I think it's like 55-yarder, 58-yarder to win the game. So as a true freshman in Iowa, like so on the road for Iowa State, and he drilled it. So the cojones on that young 18-year-old, so tip your cap.
Yeah, I mean that's clutch right there. I mean to think, this time last year, homeboy was in high school.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So props to him for coming through in a clutch kick. I mean, even though it wasn't that deep of a kick for the Northern Illinois kid, you know what I'm saying, like that was still a clutch kick. You know what I'm saying, it's to win the game in Notre Dame. So you know what I'm saying, kickers are players too, like Pat McAfee likes to say.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying, props to them for coming through that way. But no, man, it's been some interesting, you know what I'm saying, some good game. Arkansas gave Oklahoma State a good scare in their game there.
Oh, Georgia Tech. I just realized Georgia Tech lost yesterday too. Another ranked team.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah, a lot of these ranked teams you know what I'm saying, are going down. So there's a lot of space for other teams to move up. Jeez, Missouri beat the hell out of Buffalo.
Yeah. Just looked. Tennessee beat the shit out of NC State, 51-10. NC State was another ranked team. So LSU, good bounce. Not that they were playing anybody, but they beat Nichols 44-21. Now I don't know if that's. I mean, to beat only Nichols 21 points, but who by 20? But either way,
I mean, look at Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Allen, big Oklahoma fan, talking so much shit about Oklahoma. They barely beat Houston by 4 points at home.
Yeah.
So nah, man, especially early in the season. I mean, Boise State, it gave Oregon a game 37-34, but Oregon pulled it out. So nah, man, some really good, interesting games. I'm sure it was a nice, fun Saturday. You know what I'm saying? I watched a little bit. I watched a little bit of obviously the Canes game. I watched a little bit of that Texas Michigan game. Then I had my movie to go watch for last night with the fam for the review for today. So it was a nice Saturday, man. But college football is, you know what I'm saying? There's gonna be those upsets, like I said. Those rankings in the preseason. You don't really know. They go based a lot on last year and stuff that they've done, but you don't. Every year is different, especially now with the portal and stuff like that. Like there's so many guys switching teams and stuff like that. So you really don't know from year to year how good teams are going to be. But it's been fun so far, man.
It has been, and if there's one set of 25 that means the absolute least, it's the preseason polls. So
right.
That's the one that means absolute dog shit. So doesn't mean anything. We still got a whole season to play. Speaking of whole season to play, obviously Thursday night kicked off the NFL season, Johnny. We got our full slate today. So we had 2 appetizers. Thursday's game was fun. I want to recap Thursday and Friday, and we'll look at today's fun matchups. Thursday's game, I just really felt like, man, every time I watch Lamar, he does incredible things, but he is so inaccurate in it. It has cost his team, and it cost his team again a game on Thursday night. The first and goal, he hits Likely. Likely was wide open in the corner of the end zone. If he just can hit him in stride, he's got another one. And then the second and goal play, Zay Flowers was wide open. Now, he said he wasn't throwing it to Zay, but by damn sure you should have been, because Zay was wide open, and that probably, they were going to go for 2, and who knows what happens, it seems like. And then Zay Flowers, if he's just half a foot shorter, half a foot less, if he had like a half toe, they win that game. They scores a touchdown there. But man, it just seems like at times Lamar was inaccurate. I thought between both games, very sloppy, which is to be expected through the first probably quarter of the season. Especially O-lines were on all 4 teams kind of crappy. For your thoughts on Thursday's takeaway, and then we'll get into Friday's game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you as far as Lamar Jackson. I mean, that's that's his knock, man. You know what I'm saying? It's his ability to hit the open receiver. He seems to do a little bit better on the deeper throws, but sometimes that's more just throwing it up and letting your guy kind of run underneath it. But yeah, I hated him saying that he wasn't trying. Well, whoever the fuck you were trying to throw to, you missed him by a mile too. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't even see another receiver in the frame. You know what I'm saying? So who were you throwing it to exactly? But yeah, that's always been his issue, is the accuracy there. And the worst part is, you know what I'm saying, Kansas City usually starts slow. This is when you have the chance to catch them, is in the beginning of the season. Don't let them go on a run early already. But Mahomes does what Mahomes does, makes the plays he needs to make. The Xavier Worthy kid,
the Worthy
is ridiculous.
Buffalo, what do we do? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yes. And I'm not going to front. I was one of those Dolphin fans because there was a lot of links of Mike McDaniel to this Xavier Worthy kid because of the speed and Mike McDaniel's infatuation with speed and stuff like that. But my whole thing was like, we don't need another small, fast receiver. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want him to go to fucking Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? Because Jesus, it's not like Andy Reid needs another toy like that.
Hey, there's the new Tyreek, right? Like you know what I mean?
Basically,
they were searching for, since he left the last 2 years. They've been looking for one,
right? Now, and they found him. You know what I'm saying? He's got the speed to do all the reverses and all the shit, go deep. You know, stretch the field like Tyreek used to do. Plus, Rashid Rice seems to be developing into a nice receiver. I mean, Travis Kelce barely did anything.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, Jesus, I mean,
this might be the best wide receiver core he's had, Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
And he's already got 3 Super Bowls, so that's even scarier.
Yeah, that is a bit scarier. Chris Jones is a freaking monster on that defensive line. So Kansas City is going to be another hard out, but I think Baltimore had their chances. Shout out to, you mentioned Isaiah Likely. I'm mad as shit that there was a couple times that I almost drafted him, and I was like, nah. In both of my leagues, I drafted Mark Andrews like a fucking knucklehead because I was like, well, Mark Andrews is always, you know what I'm saying, Lamar's go-to. Nope, he done found a new tight end to go to.
Anybody that doesn't think, everybody in Andrew, I was off of Andrews. I always Likely, even last year.
Yeah.
And I've said this, like, somebody's like, I shouldn't be worried. I'm not going to try to worry. You should be worried because Likely stronger, faster, and younger and better than Mark Andrews at this point in their career. So like in the passing zone, the passing game, like I say, like he was his number one target. Crush.
Yeah.
I mean,
and like I said, I'm beating myself up because there were a couple times in both drafts where I was like, I can easily just double up. You know what I'm saying? Take both of them and have both of them there. You know, say just to be safe, and I wound up not doing it, and that shit bit me in the ass. Meanwhile, I had fucking Jalen Reed on my bench. And we saw what the hell he did on Friday.
I had Likely on my bench in our league, in the league.
So, that's gonna be interesting. But no, that's always been Lamar's thing, is his accuracy. Yeah, he ran for like 120 yards. That's what he does. But I will take the less athletic, accurate quarterback that's going to hit the wide open, you know, say, because they had opportunities to win that game, man. And it wasn't just in that end zone. There were other plays leading up to that could have been made, that could have put Baltimore in a situation to win that game. That's always been Lamar's knock. You know,
they got to figure out Baltimore. It's still early, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
The O-line they got 3 new offensive line members. So, man, they were getting killed on that, the lining up penalty, too.
Yeah. I mean, the NFL tends to do that at the beginning of the season where they just harp on specific things, which, I mean, but at the same time, bro, I mean, how many times are you going to get caught for the same shit? Like, move the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? A half inch, you see what I'm saying? A couple inches up, and it won't be an issue or whatever. I think Derrick Henry only had like a handful of carries, which that needs to change. They're gonna have to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like they had to throw the ball because they were trailing by so much. You know what I'm saying? It was a close game. They could have used their you know what I'm saying, their ability to run the ball to keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline and to establish Derrick Henry a little bit more. So it's week 1. You know what I'm saying? It was a fun, entertaining week 1 game. The NFL is upon us, and Kansas City looks scary as shit already, bro.
Yeah, the Chiefs are going. The Chiefs. I mean,
the Chiefs are going to be the Chiefs. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get into Friday's game real quick. I literally told my wife as we're watching the game, I said, I don't care if we, as a Packers fan, I don't care if we win this game or lose this game. I literally just want everybody to come home healthy. Like playing in a, new state, like playing across, like not overseas, but, in a different country, in Brazil, different type of stadium. Just come home healthy. That's all I want. Don't care if we win or lose. Now, obviously, watching the game, my fanhood takes over. I still want us to win the damn game. But, man, everybody was slipping. Both teams falling all over the damn place. I felt like Love, every time he dropped back, he was kind of slipping. Then he started getting these cramps. I was worried. Then the second to last play, he gets twisted up. Our offensive line was awful, too, all game. Too many penalties for us. I felt like the refs were like, "Oh, the Brazil's colors green and yellow. We'll make sure there's plenty of yellow on the field." So we're representing here. Both teams. It was another sloppy game, a lot of fun game. Saquon Barkley, folks. I said he was going to have a monster year. He's going to have a monster year. Like this is the best offensive line he's played with. 3 touchdowns. I see, like, I saw a couple of my Giant friends, like Saquon, pretty much, for signing with the Eagles. Y'all should have paid the man. Be mad at your organization, not Saquon. They chose Danny Dimes over Saquon. Guess what? Danny Dimes probably ain't going to score 3 touchdowns today, throwing, passing, or running. You know what I mean? Like, and Saquon did 3, caught 1, ran 2 in. He's going to have a monster year, I feel like. Love gets hurt the second to, last play of the game. They're saying it's a MCL strain out to 3 to 4 weeks. Like, then, I thought it was ACL, or it could be the season. If it was the season, I was prepared to punt the season. I'm joining a fanhood for the rest of the year. 3 to 4 weeks. I can deal with, and you look at our schedule, it's favorable. Like, we got the Colts, the Titans, and then the Vikings in that three games. So maybe if he comes back that 4th game, you win one of those or 2 of those games, you 2-2. I think you're okay. You're okay. So thoughts on Friday's game?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one as far as your chances of being okay. Obviously grateful and thankful that it was just an MCL strain, excuse me, as opposed to, like, it looked bad. I'm saying? I didn't get to see it live. I ain't gonna front. I went to bed before that game was over. So I saw, the first thing I saw in the morning was, love. I was like, oh shit. Like, please tell me this kid didn't get that badly hurt. Yeah. It looked bad, but again, the test showing it's a strain, not a tear. They were talking about his knee and stuff like,
it looked bad.
Yeah. And people, people always go towards the worst, right away. So I'm glad to hear that it's not that. I think you guys can survive those couple weeks. I'll get to that in a second. As far as the game itself, that field was horrendous. It was just sloppy as hell. Guys sliding all over the place. So it shows
why we should do these games preseason and not regular. Like,
yeah, man.
I regular season game.
I understand wanting to expand the league. And it's a money grab, like, holy shit, NFL, like, don't you make enough money already? Like, gee, and the shit is that you're putting the players at risk. It's, I'm not even gonna get into it, but there's all the kind of craziness that's going on in Brazil right now too.
And they said the Packers a 2-hour bus ride from the hotel to get to the stadium.
Right. So, like why are you putting your players, in situations like that, especially for games that matter and that count, in the schedule. I actually picked the Packers to win this game. I was hoping they would win this game. I knew Saquon was going to have a good game with the Eagles. We've talked about it before. I think he's going to have one of his best years with that offensive line, with the threat of Jalen Hurts' ability to run. It's going to open it up for him. Plus, he's going to be the perfect security blanket for Jalen Hurts, who is, to me, is on the same level as Lamar. He's not the greatest passer either, but he could definitely check it down. And Saquon Barkley is still one of the most electrifying players with the ball in his hands. And yeah, as far as Giant fans, you can't be mad at that kid. That kid said he wanted to be a Giant. He said he wanted to stay there. They didn't want to pay him, and they decided to move on. You know, say you can't hate on him for going to a team that he has an opportunity to win, and to stick it to the team that didn't want him too.
Sports
you know
is we do this all the time, and like it's the older I get, I'm like, man, like I was dumb, a 19, 20-year-old kid. But like the older I get, I'm like, why are we mad because somebody making more? They took a job to get more money. If me and you work together, and you came to me and say, hey man, this other company offer, I want to stay at this company, but they not willing to pay me what this other company is willing to pay me. We'd be like, yo, go get your money, brother.
Right.
Go get your money. Like,
right. Yes. Right.
In sports, we're like, damn, how dare he? Like,
right.
How dare he do us like that? Well,
right.
Brother,
and they have the nerve to be like, oh,
he got to make his money. You know what I mean?
Thank you. Right. Especially because you say again, he's been trying to get this deal done for a few years now. It's not like this is brand new. You know what I'm saying? The Giants have been
they had two off seasons to get the deal done.
They chose Daniel Jones over Saquon Barkley. You know what I'm saying? He agreed to a contract this past year with them, basically giving them a bit of a discount because, again, showing them that he wants to be there.
Yeah.
And then they still don't want to sign him. So, I'm not going to hate on him for going, you know what I'm saying? This is only his 7th year in the league. They were acting like he was 31 years old already. You know what I'm saying? And he was a great player. Again, if you had any kind of offensive line, you would have, you know what I'm saying, you would have been able to see even more of him or whatever. But I'm never going to hate a player for going to get their money. As far as him picking Philly, because they're like, oh, well, where's the loyalty? Well, where is the loyalty from the organization? And he doesn't have to have loyalty.
He's close to Philadelphia, like his fan.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah. So he didn't have to move that far.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's getting paid. He has an opportunity to win because they're a good team. And if I can stick it to my old team twice a year, why not? You know what I'm saying? That's just the cherry on top. So I'm happy for Saquon Barkley. But again, as far as this game here, it was sloppy. I mean, AJ Brown with that big play towards the end of the game where he burnt your boy Jair. That was frustrating. Devontae Smith is going to eat this year, I think. So it's the Philly did what they had to do. Again, it was sloppy. The field was horrible. I'm glad that you know what I'm saying we don't have to deal with that until whatever week we go to London in a few weeks or whatever. But they've gotten better as far as their fields and stuff like that. So hopefully it's not an issue. I'm worried about my Dolphins next year because next year we have 9 home games. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're the ones freaking going to Brazil. But nah, I mean it was a good game. Again, sloppy, but I like your team. I like your young wide receivers. I mentioned Reed going off like he did. Dobbs is nice. I think you're gonna have to lean heavy on Josh Jacobs these next few weeks while Jordan Love is down. You guys traded for Malik Willis, right, from Tennessee.
Yeah.
So I mean
his first throw was look like Charlie, the 7-year-old, threw the damn ball. So, I mean,
right. So it's gonna be interesting. We're gonna see what LaFleur is all about, what he can come up with for these next few games. You mentioned their opponents aren't exactly the greatest of opponents, so they have opportunities to pull out some wins. They're just gonna have to be run heavy, a lot of short passing type stuff like that. They got the athletes and the wide receivers to do it, and the type of offense to do that type of stuff. So if they can stay afloat for the next few weeks, especially in the NFC. We've talked about how, how less the NFC is than the AFC. If they can kind of keep it afloat the next few weeks and Jordan Love can come back in a few weeks, I think you guys would be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, we started off slow last year, the first 8 games, and still made the playoffs. So, like, anything is possible. It's a long we got to remember it's not quite it's almost a marathon, you know what I mean? So, like, it takes a while. So,
no, it is. And it's a roller coaster ride, people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, 1 week you're up, 1 week you're down. Like, don't get too high with the highs. Don't get too low with the lows. There's 7.
But you know me, I'm a high.
Yes. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying, the best thing about it, like you know what I'm saying, like you mentioned, is it wasn't a year-long, season-ending injury. That's the most important thing. You know what I'm saying, is the kid is going to be able to come back this season, and
it looked worse than what the test is. I mean, it looked so bad. Our friend Carlos from the Just Fans called me right after the game. Hey man, you okay? Like, that shit looked bad. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm okay. I don't know if the team is okay. Ain't shit I could do. I ain't running out there. They ain't gonna sign me to play. So, yeah, it's like it did look bad. It is good. It's just MCL strain and not a tear or ACL tear or at first there was reports also too of like a kneecap dislocation possibly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Anyway,
same type of time frame.
Yeah.
But 3 to 4 weeks, you look at the schedule and you're like, okay, if we can just maybe Malik Willis is new, like he ain't even been on the team, but a week and a half. They traded for him after preseason, so it's not like he was in camp the whole time. So
right. Well, who's your third quarterback? I mean, I know they're not going to go to him.
Clifford, maybe. I don't know.
All right. Well, again, you know what I'm saying. Make sure if you got Josh Jacobs on your fantasy team, you better be playing him these next few weeks or whatever, and take the over as far as carries, because you know what I'm saying, or touches, because you know what I'm saying, it should be a heavy dose of him. Your defense made some good plays, like I said. You know what I'm saying, Philly can you know what I'm saying, they got a good squad, so they did some good things against you guys or whatever. And again, the field conditions. And week 1 is always the hardest one to call, to be completely honest. You know what I'm saying? So, again, the best part about it is that your boy's season isn't over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the positive about this whole thing. And you don't have to deal with going back to Brazil anytime soon, hopefully.
Other than your Dolphins game today, what game are you like, ooh, I want to sit down, I got to get my popcorn out and kind of sit down and watch? Like I'm tuning in to this game.
All right, that's a good one there. Let me look at the schedule. I mean, probably tonight's game, Lions Rams. You know what I'm saying? Which we will be having. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you were going to announce it or not, but we will be having our nightly show. You'll see our recap shows. Like normal, so we'll lead you right into that Rams Lions game. I think that's definitely one. So yeah, that 4:00 window will be where I, run to the store and get all the shit done that I need to get done for this week. As far as, you know what I'm saying, before work, but you know what I'm saying, I start that new position tomorrow, so that's gonna be interesting. I'm excited about that or whatever. So I gotta do some last minute stuff to be prepared for that. So. But no, Lions Rams tonight. That should be a lot of fun. Does Detroit hit the ground running after an NFC title appearance last year? The Rams, I think the Rams are going to be really good this year, to be completely honest. So that one is interesting. I'm not going to front. The Commanders Buccaneers is going to be interesting to me only because I'm in Tampa, so I hear a lot about the Bucs, and I want to see Jaden Daniels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to see what he can do with the Commanders and stuff like that. So that's going to be an interesting one there. But definitely Lions Rams tonight. That's a sit down, have a couple of cold ones, and just enjoy that game.
Yeah, the couple games I'm interested in. I'm interested in Titans Bears for some. Like the Bears, just intriguing. I want to see what what Caleb Williams and that offense is going to be like. Mm-hmm. And really, the Steelers Falcons game. It looks like it's going to be Justin Fields too. Like. With the Steelers, so like if he has a monster game, let's just say he balls out with this team and he looks really good. Like what do they do with Russ? Who's got
he's done. I think if Justin Fields plays well, not a 6 for 18, 94 yards and rushes for 70 yards and they win the game because of defensive running. If he actually plays well, throws for 200 plus yards, a couple touchdowns. And you know what I'm saying, and runs the offense well, I think Russ could be done, to be quite honest.
And then on the other side, the Falcons with Kirk Cousins coming back off the injury and things like that. So and then the Colts Texans game I'm interested in too. Like the Texans are everybody's high on the Texans. The Colts, they almost made the playoffs with Gardner Minshew last year. What can they do with Anthony Richardson? Like. He was kind of up and down in the few games. He did some incredible stuff, but could never stay on the field because he was always getting beat up. So interested in that game. And then I'm also the Monday night game alone. The Jets 49ers is with AR coming. Rodgers coming back as well. So interesting matchups today. It's week 1, so you're always interested in, like you said. I was trying to make some picks and things like that and set my fantasy line. Week one's the toughest because you just don't fucking know. You know what I mean? You're basing everything off.
Yeah,
last
I mean that. I wound up having to miss the show on Thursday, but I sent in my picks to Tanner yesterday, and I ain't gonna front. I took a couple upsets just because you never know. You know what I'm saying, again, week one. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what the hell's going to happen. Like, I have no idea how the Chargers going to look with Jim Harbaugh and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know how Gardner Minshew's going to look with the rate. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be fun, though. But the NFL is finally here. Like you mentioned, we got our couple of appetizers on Thursday and Friday with those couple games. And now the full slate of NFL football is upon us today, man.
Yeah,
it's going to be a good day.
Main course, right? And then tomorrow night you get the dessert in the 49ers and so I'm excited for it. Johnny, your Yankees, I want to talk a little baseball here real quick. Your Yankees were struggling up until they faced my Cubs, and I want to turn attention to the Cubs after that. But what's going on with your Yankees here? As up until this weekend with the Cubs, they had been struggling and find themselves. Well, now they're only a half game ahead, pretty much tied with Baltimore.
Yeah, that's the crazy part about this whole thing. I mean, they started out like gangbusters. They went through that horrible July where they were like 12 and 20 something. Like, it was horrible that July. Then it looked like they caught their footing a little bit. But then they're 4-6 in the last 10 games, and it's just ugly losses, blown saves at the end of the game. Guys just aren't hitting. The pitching staff seems to be kind of coming around. They brought up a couple of kids, but they didn't bring up the Martian, who's like our number one prospect, this switch hitting, this phenomenal outfielder prospect kid that can smash the ball. But they didn't bring him up because there's a report that if he doesn't get a certain amount of at bats and that whole shit with the eligibility, they have him for an extra year shit. And it's like, why are the Yankees worried about shit like that? Like, you're the fucking Yankees. Like, stop that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he's the best one eligible to play, then bring his ass up. And I know that, you know what I'm saying, the outfielder's crowded and they really like Alex Verdugo. I like Alex Verdugo, but he's struggling. You know what I'm saying? So if he's struggling and this kid is killing it down there, bring his ass up, man. We need to win games. The saving grace for us is that the Baltimore Orioles haven't been able to take advantage of how badly we played the last 50, 60 games.
They're 5-5 in their last 10, so they're only one game.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and they pretty much did the same exact thing that we did over the last 50 games. You know what I'm saying? Where they've been kind of mediocre, maybe just slightly above 500 the last 50 games. So it's given us the opportunity to stay with them. And I can't when I looked at the standings this morning, I couldn't believe we were a half game up. I figured we'd be a game back.
I just looked at it now, because
you know what I'm saying? I thought we were going to be
Baltimore had
you know what I'm saying?
Well.
So yeah.
So I was like, oh shit! I thought the Yankees were 3 back by the way it was talking.
Yeah, that's the only saving grace is the fact that Baltimore hasn't been able to take advantage of the Yankees not being on point right now. Again, there's talk about this kid coming up hopefully in the next couple of weeks, but some of our pitchers that were injured are starting to come back healthy. Clark Schmidt made the start yesterday, and then Nestor Cortez finished the game for him. So Luis Hill, you know what I'm saying, pitched well against you guys the day before. So if our pitching can come back around to the way they were in the beginning of the year, which we're getting guys healthy, that should help. I'm still worried about the bullpen because Clay Holmes is it's just I need to take a Xanax every time he comes in the game because I don't, my anxiety just goes through the roof because, you know what I'm saying, he's going to make it interesting every time. And I know Yankee fans, you know what I'm saying, we were spoiled for all those years with Mariano Rivera, but that he ain't walking through that door. You know what I'm saying? So Aaron Boone's got to try to figure something out. They're doing closer by committee now. So whatever, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got
you're this late in the season and you're doing
right, but I'd rather them do that than to just do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. You know what I'm saying? If Clay Holmes
one of those guys will stick.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Maybe one of those guys will step it up and you all of a sudden you found yourself a guy that's just reliable and you know what I'm saying, he's got the stomach to be able to close. But like I said, luckily the Orioles haven't taken advantage of the Yankees' struggles and the Yankees are still right there in it. Like we mentioned, actually a half game above them. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they get their shit together, get on a little streak, right? Because it's we've talked about this before. it's the hotter team going into the playoffs that usually goes on a run. So hopefully they can turn things around. The young kid, Jason Dominguez, would be eligible to be on the playoff roster if they bring him up, I think sometime next week, which I think they're planning to do. So we'll see what happens. Judge and Soto are still, raking and playing well. So hopefully the other guys start picking it up or whatever, and we can get on a little hot streak here towards the end of the game, because it's getting close to that time, man. There's only like 20 games left. So
yeah, real quick. Speaking of my Cubs, that you guys now taking 2 out of 3, and first of all, I got to tip my cap to we did Rizzo right. Like, he was the last of the 16 Cubs to kind of come home, and he was our captain. So he'll forever be the captain. And so I always wish Anthony Rizzo the best, because
that was pure class by the Cubs fans there. You know what I'm saying? They know how to treat their own. That was awesome to see them do that.
Yeah, as a pure human being, Anthony Rizzo is just, you know what I mean?
Oh, I love him.
Yeah.
I love him. I'm so grateful that he's a Yankee. He's a good dude, man.
Yeah. But earlier than the week, the Cubs had a no-no, and they completed the no-no. Let me ask you 2 questions. Shota Imanaga pitched 7 innings, 95 pitches. They pulled him at that point in time. A, do you leave him in as a manager? And 2, as these combined no-hitters, do you count that as a no-hitter?
Well, I'll answer the second part of it first. I guess technically it is a no-hitter, but I'm not the biggest fan of those, because you know what I'm saying? I mean, it should be just the one guy that does it, you know what I'm saying? So whatever, technically fine. It's a combined no-hitter, but I'm not the biggest fan of those. You know what I'm saying? I'm old school to where, you know what I'm saying? I want to see him. As far as them taking him out, that's one of the hardest things to have to do, but at the same time, you have to look at it long term. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to catch one of those wild card spots. You know what I'm saying? Do you risk him going out for an extra couple innings to pitch a no, and then he has to miss a start later on that you really need that win? You know what I'm saying? So I think it was probably the right thing to do, because you say you guys are trying to make a push. Plus, you want to make sure that you don't.
We ain't making no push for 6 outs, so that's over.
Well, I mean, there's still 20 games, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got to have faith until you're mathematically eliminated. You know what I'm saying? There's still a chance. But the other thing is that, I mean, he's a young kid. He's a younger pitcher. You know what I'm saying? I know when they come from Japan, they're a little bit older, but. Is this his first season in Chicago or his second?
Yeah, first season.
Yeah, so that's the other thing too. There's that whole adjustment coming from Japan. So do you really want to push them, because they pitch over there once a week as opposed to once every 5 days like we do over here? So I say, you know what I'm saying, you preserve the kid, make sure that you have him in the long run. No would be nice or whatever, but you got to look big picture with situations like that. You know, say, I know that's probably like not the popular answer or the old man answer or whatever, but I think it's probably the smart thing to do. But yeah, the whole combined no hitter shit. Yeah, I guess it's technically a no hitter, but it's weak. It's weak. Yeah, that's the perfect word for it. Yeah, it's just it counts, but does it really?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Does anybody really care? And everybody, oh, that was an awesome combined no hit. No, nobody says that.
No, you don't even really remember. You know what I mean?
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't think it doesn't really count. It's very weak to me. As far as like leaving them in, so like there's a couple things to in play there. 97 pitches is a lot. I feel like 100. Once you get to around that 100 pitches, it's time to pull a guy. We saw Johan Santana go a couple. This is we talked about it like probably like 3 decades ago now. But he went over 100 pitches, and to finish out a no was never the same. And now he had some injury issues prior to that as well. But then he had that no hitter with the Mets, and he was never the same because he went over I think he was at 120 some odd pitches at that point in time, and so it's still a lot. Part of me is also like, man, let the guy finish, because like that's something special as a pitcher. You know what I mean? And let him go out there and try to do it. But at the same time, for the Cubs in that situation, like he's your ace. Justin Steele had just went on the IL that day. and he's like our number 2 guy. So you know, like you said, like we're kind of we're trying maybe to make the playoffs. You know what I mean? I don't think it's possible, but like you got to still protect. Like we still got to think about the future of the team right now for this season and the future of this guy in this situation. So do I agree with it? Maybe not, but do I understand it? Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like it's a tough position. I think if you're in the manager, especially a guy like Craig Counsell who's played the game, you know what I mean? Been around. This is a guy who played with Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling and some guys like that. Like he's been around the game and seen, you know, been a part of some great moments on some great teams. So he was probably like, shit out. You know what I mean? Like that's a tough decision, you know? So
I get
it all.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like I said, I would want to leave him in there, but I understand them not leaving him in there and doing the best thing for the player and for the organization going forward. But that's just the time of the way we are in baseball right now with the whole analytics. You hear that magic number 100 pitches, and it's just like the pitchers just aren't trained to go deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? So like that's like the magic number for analytics people that, oh no, we got to take him out, or the third time through the order, we got to take him out.
The third time through the order just depends on how many. Like if he's cruising third time, through like 2 times through the order, and he's only got 70 pitches, like let him keep going. You know what I mean? But yeah.
But there's just like those key phrases and shit that a lot of analytics people go with or whatever. But if we can start kind of training these guys younger to go deeper, then it wouldn't even be an issue. I mean, there were games where, like you mentioned, Kurt Schilling and you know, Johan was one thing because he had injuries already. So that was just like, why are y'all doing that? Yeah. But it was the Mets being the Mets, and of course, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, David Cone, you know what I'm saying, threw 130 something pitches back, you know what I'm saying, to get a no-hitter. You know what I'm saying? Like
I remember his name. His last name was Morris. Jack Morris. Remember
yes,
the World Series. He
pitched in the World Series.
Yeah, with the Twins.
Yes, and he went into extra innings, and he just kept on pitching. Like that man was not coming out of that game. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it was back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like those guys had the mentality of, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to finish my game. You know what I'm saying? This is my game. I'm pitching. I'm going to finish it or whatever. But that's just not the way, you know what I'm saying, the league is now. The league now is, you know, they want these guys to just throw the ball as hard as humanly possible or whatever.
That's what I said. Somebody said, like, oh, they're trying to limit innings. I'm like, no, they're not limiting innings. Like, that's not the problem. Limit innings or third. It's the fact that they tell these people, throw 100 miles, throw as hard as fast as you can every time out. Right. And well, then your arm's going to fall off, especially around 100 pitches. You know what I mean? But like, because they're not, I don't know if they're pitching, but it's more throwing than pitching. You know what I mean? Like it's the mental, like MLB did a great documentary on Greg Maddux, and it was
yes.
I don't know if you've caught that.
And that kid did not throw gas at all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Seriously.
Called his own pitches, would tell the tell the catcher, like, hey, like we would do certain things to say what
would set up hitters for future at bats and stuff like that. Yeah, that was the science of pitching. Yeah, right there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's more than just throwing the ball as hard as possible.
Yeah, I'm sure you saw the clip of Jeff Bagwell where during the game he was like, "Hey, don't throw inside fastball or something like that," and then he throws the inside fastball, gives us a home run. The catcher's like, "Why did you do that?" I said, "Well, we're going to play him later down the road. He's going to look for that inside fastball, and he won't ever get it." They meet in the playoffs, exactly like Greg said. I never threw in the inside fastball. I struck him out on 3 pitches. Right. And Greg was like, "Hey, remember that time I told you he was looking for that inside fastball?" Like, you know, he was a different dude and different time and era that we're in. But again, back to the no hitter. I get pulling him at the same time. You know what I mean? Like it would have been. Yeah. You kind of let him go.
It would have been cool to see, but in the long run, it's probably the best thing for him.
Yeah, Johnny, we'll switch gears here and we'll get into your brief movie review. You said you went and saw Beetlejuice last night. Yep. Go ahead and tell the people about it.
Yep, me, wifey, and the boys. We went to see Beetlejuice last night, which is the sequel to the original Beetlejuice from 1988. They did a really good job. It took long enough for them to finally do it, but they did a good job. It's entertaining. If you're a Beetlejuice fan, then you obviously absolutely have to go see this. They did a good job of putting you back in that Beetlejuice world without having to like do too much of the same shit they did from the first Beetlejuice. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't one of those sequels where they're just gonna go strictly on nostalgia and a bunch of, you know what I'm saying, Easter eggs and stuff like that. To, you know, it wasn't the same lines, you know what I'm saying, and same jokes from the first one or whatever. You know what I'm saying? A lot of sequels, especially, you know, sequels of really good movies, when they do it later on, they wind up kind of just remaking the same shit. They expanded the story here. They expanded some of the lore of the, you know, the afterlife and stuff like that. So they did a really good job with that. It's really entertaining. It's really funny. They got a little, you know what I'm saying, they had a bunch of different storylines going on at the same time or whatever, but they wrapped it all up into a nice bow, and left the possibility, if they wanted to pull out a third one, it's possibly there. But I think they did a good job of continuing the story and not having to depend on too much of the nostalgia from the old one. You know what I'm saying? Like, you knew you were in the Beetlejuice world, but it wasn't like a repeat of the first one. It was a continuation. They did a good job of that. It's entertaining. Winona Ryder's awesome. Michael Keaton, of course, as Beetlejuice is great in it. He's a legend, bro. He's great in it. You know what I'm saying? Jenna Ortega is great as Lydia's daughter and stuff like that. And Captain O'Hara was great, who's the stepmom, the redheaded stepmom in it. She was great. So the cast was great. The story was well written, executed. Tim Burton, you know what I'm saying? He's always does a good job with his, you know what I'm saying, with his the aesthetics of it and stuff like that. And you know what I'm saying? So it was great. Like I said, you're definitely back in that world, but it's not just a repeat of the first one. So they did a really good job. So I definitely recommend it. I would probably give it 4 out of 5. There were some things that they could have done that would have just made it like the perfect sequel to it, but I think they missed out on a couple little things here or there, but not enough to like deter me from watching it again. I'm looking forward to actually watching it again. It was a lot of fun, and it was nice to be able to see with the whole fam, because the whole fam are fans of the first Beetlejuice, so it was nice to go see it with everybody yesterday. So definitely recommend it. Definitely got to go see it.
All right. So I'll do the album review real quick, and none other than I reviewed Wiz Khalifa. The album is Wiz Owens.
Nice.
I love Wiz, first of all, the old Wiz, and maybe I'm just like, when I want to listen to rap music, I just want bangers. I really do, like beats, hard beats, like, you know, and that's really Wiz. Old Wiz gave you that, you know what I mean? Just
right.
Bangers, good beats, good, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, this album did not have any of that. I don't know if it was I don't know if it was the strand he'd been smoking on, but I mean, it was just more mellow. It was. It wasn't good. I mean, I probably give it a 1.5 star. Like, there wasn't one song where I kept on a playlist, like, where I wanted to like go back and listen to again. Like, not one. I didn't say one song on the whole album. Bad. Yeah, and bad. I like Wiz. I've been to a Wiz Khalifa concert, and it was one of the best concerts I have been to. Like, right. And it's he's got some skill. I guess he just sometimes he drops the ball. Yeah, this album was not, you know what I mean? They can't all be rolling papers. They can't all be, you know, it just was not. Like I said, I don't know if it's the weed he was smoking on while he was doing this album. It was a very chill album, like just like, you know, like some background noise, really, but nothing where you like, you know, like I want Wiz to be like We Them Boys, you know, Black and Yellow, like, you know, work hard, play hard. I like all that stuff. Even like some of his like other stuff, like his love making, like Rah Roll Up, you know, like those type of songs are good too. Like this song, I just felt like this album was just so. Sorry, Wiz. I just keep it real. Yeah, I was about to say you got to keep it 100. It is what it is. I wouldn't recommend this album to anybody. So, damn. Yeah. All right, before we get out of here, John, we got to do our top 5 of the week. We decided this week with Week 1 NFL popping off, you got to get the spread out. So, top 5 game day foods.
All right. Well, my number 5 here, I kind of cheated a little bit. I put alcohol and beers.
Okay.
But you're saying like if you want to say foods, then I'm gonna go with sandwiches here. You know what I'm saying? If you got a big hoagie, you kind of dice it up into like
Oh, like sliders.
smaller sandwiches or
Yeah.
whatever, then I'll put that at number 5. I'll go with sandwiches, but I really did want to say alcohol.
Okay.
But it's not technically a food.
Okay. My number 5, Little Smokies. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I like
That's a good one.
I like Little Smokies. That's my number 5.
Yeah, like little pigs in a blanket type little jammies.
Or you put the crock pot and then you put like
yes,
stuff,
yes.
Little Smokies.
Yes, I'm always hungry as fuck after we do these damn things. But yeah, no, that's a good one. I forgot about those. Those are actually a good one there. Mine are gonna be more of the classic ones like that. But my number 4, I just went with the classic, burgers and some dogs. If you're gonna throw some, say on the grill, whatever for the game, just have, have some burgers and some hot dogs. You can never go wrong with that. You know what I'm saying, for a game day, quick, easy stuff like that to make.
Yeah, my number 4 was sliders, like just the little sandwiches. I love like on the Hawaiian rolls or whatever. I could eat like 30 of them little sliders. So little sliders are fire. Your number 3.
My number 3 is any type of a dip. It doesn't have to necessarily be chips and dip or whatever. Like we like a buffalo chicken dip. My wife has made. She used to do this veal with all the different types of cheeses or whatever. Like we called it, cheeseburger soup and shit like that. Yeah. But it was just nice. My apologies. It was venison. It was venison. Yeah, deer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was venison with, basically it was, a thick, cheesy, she would make the roux with the cheese sauce and stuff like that. And it was just, that shit was banging. Get some pretzel bread, whatever, dip it in there. Yeah. So any type of dip like that is high on the list for game day.
Yeah. My number 3 is Swedish meatballs. It goes with the wings, like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, not the wings, but the smokies. Like that's what my number 3.
Yeah, throw them bitches in the crock pot. Yeah. Yep, and just good one.
Yeah, I love a little good Swedish meatballs. Your number 2.
My number 2 is good old fashioned pizza. It don't matter where you get it from. I can be as simple as Kevin from Home Alone and just eat a cheese pizza. But if you can throw some pepperoni on there, I'm good to go with just some pepperoni pizza. But any kind of pizza, just don't bring me no bunch of veggie shit pizzas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't throw a bunch of vegetables on a pizza.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you want to eat a salad, eat that shit on the side. Leave my pizza. Don't ruin my pizza by throwing all your salad on top of my pizza. Yeah. But pizza's my number 2.
Yeah, my number 2 is like you said, any chips and salsa or any type of dip, whether it's like buffalo chicken, whether it's like bean dip, whether it's just classic nacho,
spinach and artichoke. Any of those types of dips and shit.
Any type of where you're dipping, you know what I mean? Or chips and salsa or some, any type of chips and dip, like you got to have that like out,
Yes,
at all times.
That's a must. So I think we're gonna agree on the number 1. It's probably the highest selling thing ever at at the Super Bowl or whatever, but it's got to be wings. Yeah. Number 1 is wings. I'm actually gonna go grab some of those when I go to do my running around in a little bit after the show. But definitely got to have some wings. I'm not the biggest like sloppy sauce on my wings or whatever. I just like a nice little buffalo style wing or whatever. Every once in a while, like some like if she'll make like the Spanish style, like there'll be some Spanish rub seasoning type stuff on the wings or whatever. Like I could work with some of that or whatever, but I don't need that many different flavored wings. Some regular old buffalo wings, and I'll tear them shits up.
Yeah, I wings and pizza were like my time. I had to put them together. I'm the opposite. I love Just let me get all. I want to be like just covered in fucking wing sauce from like here to here. Like
Yeah.
I love a good wet wing where I'm just like,
Yes.
Right. And ain't no anybody that eating wings like they. You got to. It's got to be bone like out like
Yes.
right like. There's no. You can't have no meat left. I seen people just leave. I'm like, they half the damn chicken on this wing still. So. But I like to be covered in wings, like just a good wings, and then it can be pizza, or it even can be like mini bagel pizzas, like any
any type of anything in the pizza family.
I
got you.
Like that could be.
But no, I'm with you though on the wings, and you need to eat them shit properly. I don't know if you're a drum or a flat person. I mean, I like either one.
I'm either one. I don't understand the drums versus flats. We a family.
Chicken wings. You know what I'm saying? If you put them in front of me, I'm gonna eat. I don't discriminate either. I'm gonna tear them shits up either way. But no, I'm with you there. And then there is no such thing as a boneless chicken wing. Those are fucking chicken nuggets.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's not real. That's not a real wing.
Yeah. Every once in a while, like when I host trivia, I'll order wings, but I do boneless there because I'm about to do shit.
But that's different. That's just because you're trying to keep it clean or whatever. You're trying, whatever.
But at home, you can't have boneless wings. Like
bro. If that's the case, we'll get a chicken breast. I'll chop it up into pieces and fry it for you. And there you go.
We're just having spicy chicken nuggets, really. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is.
Absolutely, bro.
Johnny, before we get out of here, you got anything else you want to dump out for the week that we didn't get to?
Just like I mentioned, starting the new job tomorrow, which is going to require me to have to drive more than I have, not like driving a truck, but I gotta, I'm part of the install management, the crew, so I have to go to the sites and talk to homeowners and stuff like that, which I don't mind, but my thing is being out on the road because there are some non-driving people there. You threw out the, the fuck them kids last week, but fuck these non-ass driving people out here on the road, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so glad that I'm not gonna be driving a tractor trip. I'm not gonna be driving a truck. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be in my car or whatever, so I'm gonna be more comfortable, whatever. But like, I've been noticing ever since I took the position, like, I've noticed that like people are irritating me more and more out on the road. You know what I'm saying? So it's like my mind already knows that that's going to be part of my job. So it's like trying to prepare me.
Get the hell out the fast lane and get your fucking ass over.
Yes. And you know what? It's okay to have a little common courtesy. You can move the fuck over if somebody's trying to come out of someplace. You know what I'm saying? You can keep the speed, just move over. And then the worst is when they block you from coming out and then they don't want to look at you. You know what I'm saying? They just looking straight forward. They know they just blocked you.
Like when you going out of like a concert and people don't zipper in, you know what I mean? And they just no, motherfucker, we zippering. That's the whole point. Zipper in and out. Zipper in and out.
Right.
Like,
right. Yes.
Yeah.
And a four-way stop sign, people, is 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what I'm saying? So whoever gets there first on whatever side that person goes, then the next. You know what I'm saying? Like, do it in an orderly fashion, and we'll all get through this quicker. But no, so yes, to all the non-driving motherfuckers out there, like I do not look forward to that.
I
but I am looking forward to the position.
I passed somebody in the slow lane on the interstate, and because they didn't get over, and sometimes I'll wait and be like, oh, maybe they're gonna get over, and then they have no intentions of getting over. I'll go in the slow lane. I drove past them and I give them a thumbs down. I don't flip them off,
right?
But I give them a thumbs down.
Yeah, Yeah, so that was just the dump that I had to get off there. But no, shout out to you having fun with the show. Looking forward to this show. Looking forward to this day in football. We're gonna have some fun. And tomorrow on the Kendall Sports Network, me and Byron and Alex will recap the Dolphins Jaguars game tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern on the Kendall Sports Network. So definitely check that out. And of course, the LTS show tomorrow night at 9. And I believe we have a show later on this evening too.
Yeah, that's right. So tonight we'll be back 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central. It's our NFL recap show of year 3. Me and Johnny been pretty much doing it. So we'll be recapping all of today's events. We won't recap Thursdays and Fridays game because we did that already. But we'll recap all of the day and afternoon games leading up to tonight's game. We'll give out our dogs and turd of the week. So that'll happen again 7 Central, 8 Eastern. You can catch it right here. Other than that, real quick shout out again. You guys saw the little guy.
Happy birthday
to Carly. Yep, he is 7 years old. So gonna do some cake and ice cream with him today. Next Saturday is when we're really gonna go do his big thing. And then shout out to my daughter Jayla. She won Town Princess yesterday. So shout out to her. You got to love your kids, and I like to embarrass them the most I possibly way I can. So during the parade, like I'm shouting, "That's my daughter! That's my daughter!" And just So
hey, that's just being a proud dad, man. That's it.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love trying to to mess with them. So that's just that's just number one. That's just who I am, and they know I do it out of love, not out of So, but nonetheless. We'll be back tonight, 7 o'clock Central, 8 Eastern. For my guy, Johnny Cruz, I'm Bodkins. Be a friend, tell a friend, folks. Like, subscribe, share. We'll see you tonight. I'm going to hit that outro. Let's have a good night. Hopefully your fantasy team wins, and hopefully you nail your bets and you end on the Sunday. We all have a good NFL Sunday. So we'll see you tonight. Where the hell's the outro, baby? There it is.
Thank you.